Hello, everybody. I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi. Thank you for joining us today. We're doing our regular 2 p.m., 5 p.m. Tuesday sounds like 2, Tuesday, 5 p.m. weekly session, 5 p.m. Pacific and 8 p.m. Eastern, where we take your questions about U.S. immigration live and really just go into general educational discussions about what the process means and what it entails. We go through this every week, and we always have some good questions. So shoot them out here on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. We're all over the place. Happy to hear, Zam. Good to see you. Post your questions. Try to do it only once so we don't get the same repeat questions. But if you're interested in a fiance marriage case, the first thing I recommend doing is to download our guide, the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide, at marriageimmigrationlaw.com. The website's marriageimmigrationlaw.com. Having said that, today was a cool day. Went to an interview with USCIS. It's called a joint I-751 N-400 interview. Is a spouse of U.S. citizen who got a green card. And when they got the green card, it's only valid for 2 years. So they have to apply again for my I-751 to get a 10-year green card. While that's pending, because it pens so long, could be years sometimes, if you satisfy the citizenship requirements, which my client did in this case, you could file for citizenship. So that was really cool. We filed for citizenship, and they were able to get it. And what a little complex is, we went to the interview, a joint I-751 naturalization interview, and there the file hadn't been emailed yet, so it took a while for that to move forward. That was unexpected, but we were able to do it and naturalize the same day and everything like that. But what was interesting extra with that one was that the computer system failed because they didn't email it, but the officer was really nice and was able to request it from the service center who had it, and we were able to get it. And the thing I found out is they had stopped doing name changes at interviews for citizenship in California, because they stopped doing it because they needed to have a judge there to do the name change. It was hard getting that. And after the pandemic, they started doing small groups of people getting their citizenship at the same time. And because they kind of have judges there constantly, but now they've set it up, at least in Southern California, where the officer said we have 4 sessions a month. So there's a delay in getting the citizenship, where people, if they do want to do a name change, you can do it there. But because of the hassle, you might want to just change your name separately. So that was a little heads up. It was that would help with a lovely couple, beautiful child, and so I had a lot of fun, and it was just a good time. So let's take some questions. Eduardo says, "Hello, can you talk about the process after DS-260 denial?" The DS-260 does not get denied. The DS-260 is just a biographic information page. You're talking about an immigrant visa denial. It depends on what the denial is for. So you need more specifics, Eduardo, to see why you would get a denial in such a case. Do we offer free consultations? No. What is the I-24? I have a lot of videos on YouTube. One Brumitage, go and type in, don't even look for me, just go to YouTube and type in IA24 immigration lawyer, something like that, and our videos will come up on that. Usually a top response. Setbeat says the U.S. spouse should be there as well in combo interview. Yes. Satwi says, hey, so I'm on an F1 visa. My father's 18 years back, applied for a work visa from India to U.S. Once he landed in the USA, the immigration officer told my father that the company he came with was a fraud company. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. And they sent back with that. So you got to, I don't know if there's a fraud company. I'm not sure what you could do. You guys talk with an attorney about that in private. Serious situation. Lucky asks, hi, what do you think of DUI law HR 697 will affect DUI convicted green card holders? I don't follow every law that's there until it's a bill, until it becomes law and it starts going into it. So I can't comment on some specific law in some area. It just depends on what's going on in your DUI. You can have DUI, we run someone over. So it's going to be different kinds of DUIs. And they do look good into that. JB says, adjustment of status appointment on January 23rd, 16th. Decision still pending a year later due to RFE. Said never got what now? I don't know. I don't know your case well enough to be able to answer that. You might just need to wait. I don't know. Zam says, my question, please. How long for the marriage visa? 3 months, 6 years. User 5 says, they rejected the expiry request from my doctor and it's pretty serious. What can I do? Try again. Prani says, why nurses are not getting F3 visas? There's F3, maybe preference category F3. That's adult children of green card holders. I'm not sure what nurses have to do with that. User 55 says, husband's documents qualified. That's the National Visa Center. Sent an expedite due to medical reason. They rejected. What can I do? It's serious. Try again. Get a congressional rep. Sue them. That kind of stuff. Adonai says, is New Jersey a good place to win asylum? It depends on your case, whether it's a good case or not. Sonia says, good night. What documents to submit my I-130 for spouse abroad? Well, check out my guide to get into that. Go to marriageimmigrationlaw.com, Sonia, marriageimmigrationlaw.com, and download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide. And you could look into that and study for yourself. You can check out the I-130 instructions too. Angel says, how many master hearings can you have before you are deported? They used to give up to 3, but I don't handle immigration court, so I'll leave it at that. Eduardo says, can you file an I-601A, use the death of the qualifying relative as evidence of extreme hardship? No, fortunately, the qualifying relative has to be alive. Now, I don't do the 601 waivers in my firm, so don't quote me on that, but I believe if you're doing a 601, the qualifying relative has to be alive. If you're doing a 237A1H waiver, they said they could pass waiver. That's a different kind of waiver. Patty says, will my friend's retired husband be able to file an affidavit of support for her and how to get help? I don't know. I got to see what kind of income they have, what kind of savings they have, Patty. So send your friends for a consultation session. Imran says, as a U.S. citizen, I'm living abroad for 6 years. I got married there. Now I want to move back to USA. You got to get a green card for your spouse. Good luck. Check out our guide, marriageimmigrationlaw.com. Lucky says, I'm a green card holder. I got DUI in 2021. Lucky, I can't get into case-specific info. We'd have to review your DUI, review what the laws and what the conviction was, all that kind of stuff. And at the end of the day, it is discretionary for USCIS to approve or deny a case like that for that reason. Gentleman says, how long takes citizenship interview after applying? 2 months, 2 years. User 5 says, you said to get what representative for my medical rejection? Your congressional representative, a senator. It's probably not gonna make a difference, but senator or congressional representative. What is it? House of Representative member. Okay, Wendy says, my husband was documented qualified in September. He's in Nigeria. I don't get interview. Yeah, it's gonna be like 2 years probably, Wendy. Or more. Nigeria is one of the most backed up embassies there is for green cards. Dupa says, what are some evidence you need for removal of conditions? We have a whole list. You just download our guide. Just what's going on in your life? Let's do that. How long does USIS take the response to our feed? There's no timeline. Allison says, speed consultation. Good job. You're welcome, Allison. Good to see you. A great colleague. I'm guessing it's our colleague, Allison. Yeah, it's you. So good to see you, Allison. Thank you. I like thinking fast. So we kind of just did the questions, get them out fast. Sometimes people are like, you talk too fast. I can't understand you, like that. Lucky asks, how much is your fees? Lucky, contact the office. This is not negotiating consultation time. This is for getting people's questions out regarding cases. I don't talk about money. I don't like talking about timelines in particular, but we try to keep it some fact, like meaty stuff. So there's no approximate wait time that I can give anybody. Okay. So can you do a 6-1 waiver and that 618 override the 10-year ban? Yeah, the 601 waiver, the regular one was always for the 10-year ban. The 618 is just for a unique circumstance where if you're already in the United States, instead of waiting for your embassy interview, being denied, then filing for the waiver, being stuck outside, they let you apply for that specific issue, the 3 or 10-year bar while you're in here. So, good luck. Thanks, Lucky. Good luck. Hope I wasn't mean or something like that, but this is 2 case specific. We got to sit and talk, and I don't like to talk about money because things change in different cases have different fees, so it's not the proper place for it. How long can it take for a green card based on a grant of asylum? There's no how long any of this stuff. It's gonna take forever. You're welcome, Eduardo. Let's go back to Instagram, where for some reason I can't see my image, my video, but why is that? But we're getting questions, so. Let's see. Sadwick answered those. How can Nigeria get a U.S. citizen just like everyone else? I'm a U.S. citizen. I applied for I-130. Emika says, for my spouse and son under 21 years of age, March 13, 2023. My case is still in review. Should I be worried when I hear you? No, these cases just take probably 12, 13 months on average right now. Sepid says, filed N400 WOM. The case was updated, mentioned under review. Serve the summons 6 days coming. If the government has not responded, I don't know. It's just whatever they want to do. Mayones, can you tell me about the interview? There's different kinds of interviews. It depends on what you're trying to get and what your background is. So I can't answer that particularly. What is easy visa? Nigerian, the same that's easy visa for anywhere else in the world. None. There's no easy visa. Can your I-130 be denied if you owe federal taxes? Not the I-130, but probably the adjustment status can be denied. Potentially, they could deny. They have USCIS has broad leeway to deny I-130s for some random things. I'm not sure if taxes could be one of them. But let's say you're a green card holder and I've been outside the United States for 5 years, and then you apply an I-130 for your spouse. They could deny that case for being absent too long. That has happened. There's history of it. It's not something that practically happens. I'm really worried about, but it's not impossible. Violet says, hello, how can I retrieve my USCIS receipt number? My father petitioned for me I-130 on February 11, 2023, but he will not provide me with additional regarding status. Well, the I-130 petition belongs to your father, the petitioner. So if he doesn't want to give it, there's no way to get it. That's his case, even though it's intended for someone else. Once the case is approved, the National Visa Center usually emails, if you're out abroad, emails you if they have your email address. So at the end of the day, he's going to control the situation, what information he gives them, and all that kind of stuff. Okay, we got questions on TikTok. I wasn't paying attention, just scrolled by. Okay. So, for example, let's see. Oh, we did answer these. My USIs, I can't give chance about stuff. I can't tell you. I don't know. There's a situation where if you had asylum pending and you try to get a work green card, what will happen? It usually doesn't work, but you give it a shot. Would it make a difference for me to reach out to the embassy regarding the medical expedite instead of NBC? You give it a shot. Who knows? Kay says USCIS asked for I-834 after approving I-130. Sent my file. It took NBC took on 6 months. So 6 months is pretty good. I think maybe the I-824. It took 6 months is good. Jabron says I didn't get my interview. It's almost more than 10 months. What should I do? I don't know. Maybe it could take longer. I don't know. Colin says, can I change my daughter's name on U.S. citizenship ceremony? They are a teen. She could your daughter wouldn't probably have a citizenship ceremony on her own. It depends on if you're a teen. I got to see what's going on with the case and if she's filing a loan or if she automatically becomes a citizen. I'm not sure exactly where your daughter's case is and if she's going to file the paperwork that will allow for a name change certificate for F-100. So we have to review what's going on there. Victor says, also, can marrying my U.S. citizen partner hinder my I-130 process? No, you probably should marry your U.S. citizen partner and just do that case and don't bother with your dad's case. Your dad's case, you're probably over 21. It's going to take like 10 years. So it's like a useless case. If you have if you have no choice, that's good. But if you're married to a U.S. citizen, why don't you just get your green card through that? That makes much more sense. Victor says, hello, how long should I wait to apply for green card for marriage? There's no deadline for applying per se, but it depends on what's going on in your personal life. Like if you just enter the United States and then married the next day, it's not good. But there's no timeline. As soon as you have a marriage certificate, essentially you're allowed to if you satisfy other requirements. How long would it take? I don't know where your case is. If it's in the U.S., it could be 3 months to a year. If it's outside, it could be 2+ years. But you're welcome, Violet. First off, Violet, download my guide, the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide. Is free at marriageimmigrationlaw.com. It spells everything out and has links to videos where I detail everything even more. And then schedule a consultation with the office and one of our attorneys or maybe intake person can talk with you to see what's going on. If I become a U.S. citizen. So if you become a U.S. citizen, your daughter will probably automatically become a citizen too, but that she doesn't have to apply for it because if she has a green card, she becomes a citizen if she's under a certain age. There's no name change for that. You're the one who becomes a citizen. You could have name changed, but not your child. MNH says, can I use my national passport along with refugee child document as asylee, no green card? Well, when you become a asylee, you're saying that you're not going to use the protections of your home country or their services. So by using the passport, it technically is a way that you're violating being a asylee. In practice, no one's paying attention. I never heard it be a problem, but I can only guide you as to what the rules are. Cesar says 6 months is my medical RFE and nothing yet. Waiting 1 year. Any idea what's going on? Justin in Portland. Well, actually, I'm glad you mentioned that, Cesar. I just got a similar situation approved. I just got it approved right now. So I have to check out the timelines. I can't do it right now, but there's a big issue, and I did a TikTok on it a second ago. Let's see. Okay, add time for today. I put this thing on TikTok because I had that recording on the side that limit how much I could watch TikTok a day, and all of a sudden, in the middle of this live recording, it's like try to shut me down. But what I was going to say is, after you send the medical, usually the case is approved soon afterward. But I have a case where it took 6 months or 7 months for the adjustment status to be approved after the fact. So be prepared for that kind of stuff happening too. It's not abnormal right now. And again, we just got it approved like an hour ago or something. I got to check the timelines. I don't have it handy, but I remember it's been a while. It's like my longest case pending with the medical pending. Victor says, I am on an F1 visa, student visa. Can I add my income to my spouse own to meet the income requirement? So if you're on an F1 visa, you're not allowed to work. You're welcome, Cesar. So Victor, how do you have the ability to show your income if you don't have work authorization? If you're working on campus temporarily, I don't know if that income is not consistent. I wouldn't want to use that. Probably I'd prefer either showing assets on your part or if you find a joint sponsor. But I'll need to analyze your case to see where you're at because if F1 student doesn't have work authorization to have a consistent enough job. We've done it before with OPT income, but it was last resort because they could still come back and say this job isn't consistent. So you're a teaching assistant. You might be like a grad student. I have used teaching assistant income before, but I'd prefer not to. If your spouse is a U.S. citizen, you give it a shot because if it's denied, you try again. But you don't want to get case denied and waste that time and money. I would recommend trying to find a joint sponsor, but if you got no choice, you got no choice. Yeah, legal 20 hours. You do that on campus. So I wouldn't want to do that, frankly. I'd want to get a joint sponsor in your scenario. Okay, let's take some questions from TikTok. You're welcome, Victor. Kenny, let's see. I'm a green card. Can I sponsor my parents in Afghanistan? I'm a green card holder. No, you have to be a U.S. citizen to file for your parents. Apply for asylum 2020. No interview advice. We sue them. I'm trying, but I don't do lawsuits, but you do that. Teresa, why does it take USCIS 44 months to prove an application? I'm not the person to ask. I don't know. I agree that doesn't make sense, but that's just what we're dealing with. How long does the 620 waiver take to get approved? Right now, like 1 to 4 years. Shandy says, if you marry a U.S. citizen on a visitor visa and apply for adjustment of status, can I leave the U.S.? Not until you get advanced parole or the case is approved. I got an invalid receipt number for I-730. Contact USCISF. I'm not sure why that happens. Sometimes there's glitches in their system. Okay, let's see. All right, well noted. Let's go back to Instagram, take some questions there. Can I transfer? Okay. Can I transfer from Malaysia, Djibouti? Do you think how long it take? If you live in that second country or Djibouti, where's that, Eritrea or something? If you live there and you reside there legally, you can make a request. I'm not sure if I'd want to do that. I'm not sure Djibouti is going to be the best embassy compared to Malaysia. If you have to, and you have to. Savi says, can a citizen sponsor a green card for his cousin? No, no one can do anything for their cousin when it comes to family based. Carl says, it's been already 20 months. I-130 petition filed, and once I already inquired, but no response. Is there any option, sir? You can try suing them. That may be an option, but you know that's it. I'm not sure why Instagram doesn't show on video, but look at the voice in there. Robbie asks, hello, DACA recipient here, getting green card through perm employment. I-130 approved, I-765 approved, I-485 pending 6 months. Medical RFE sent already. Will they do an interview or fingerprints for I-404? Well, if you have DACA, you probably have your fingerprints in the system, so they may waive it. You'd receive a letter for that. You would know. And will they do an interview? It's up to them. Now, the thing is, if you have DACA, I'm not sure if you can file for adjustment of status, because for adjustment of status, you must have entered the U.S. lawfully with a visa. Now, a lot of DACA people came without that. But if you did enter lawfully and you haven't had more than 6 months, without status, I'm not sure how DACA you're filing for adjustment of status based on an employment-based case, because you may have had overstay periods that will not satisfy the requirements for a 245 A, C, or K, adjustment. So, Robbie, definitely, I would want to have a conversation with you, see what's going on, how it's different. But a lot of times in your kind of case, when it's perm, we don't do adjustment of status for DACA recipients. Potentially, they never accumulated enough what's called unlawful presence days. I'm getting very technical here, so sorry. But if you haven't accumulated enough lawful presence days, we send you out to consular processing when you have DACA. But I mean, if you enter the United States when you're 17 and a half and you got DACA 3 months later, and then you filed for it, DACA is in status. So I'm not sure how you're applying for perm. I would want to review that case because it might just be a bad. So I might be wrong. I got to just see what's going on. Princess says, I did my green card review February 6th, no reply. And now my son filed a petition. Why it takes so long? February 6th, just it's a week ago. It's not too long. Just wait. I don't know the details. You might have a bad case for all I know. Just like the previous case that was asking DACA, they may go to interview and have the same situation, get denial. If I'm correct, which I don't know all the facts, so I can't say that for sure. But this is just a waiting game a lot of times. Kauru says, or I answered that one. Saud says, what if I marry my cousin who is a citizen? I'm on F1. Well, listen, Saud, you can't do a fake relationship. That's what you're talking about. If you've been in a couple or you're really marrying your spouse, check out my guide and schedule a consultation. Email is the best way to reach us for schedule a consultation. Briefly describe your immigration issue. Email address is info@jqqlaw.com, info@jqqlaw.com, or on our website, jqqlaw.com. There's a contact us page with information. But don't do marriage if it wasn't a real marriage. So I'd leave it at that. Okay, my internet's been so bad. It's probably why these things are cutting out a lot. But Thank you for joining. You got to be very careful. It's tempting to do marriage. If I don't want to accuse this person, that maybe they have a valid relationship with a cousin, but it's going to be questions. Now, a lot of people do get married cousins. I have distant relatives that are married cousins that are older, but you know, Victor asks, will working with authorization be a problem with regards to my green card application? And also, should I disclose it? Well, you got to disclose everything. It's on the form it asks, so you got to be honest. Will it affect your application? Victor, I don't know enough details about your apply for green card for marriage. Like, if you're married and living with the U.S., if you're married to U.S. citizen, it's okay, unless you committed fraud to get that job. You made a fake passport. You claim to be a U.S. citizen or something like that. That's problematic. But hey, Victor's getting too much into individual legal consultation here. I can't do that. I can't give you guidance. I don't know you. I don't have a legal relationship with you. So we'll just have to leave at these generalities. But schedule consultation, you probably 100% should schedule consultation based on all the questions you're asking. So Robbie says, okay, thanks, great. I'm covered under 245I through my father. That's the answer. Okay, 245I. So Robbie, okay, that's good. Just have the documentation and stuff like that. Will they do an interview? Maybe. If you're good, you're good. So don't worry about it. But just have your 245I paperwork and check to make sure that goes down. 245Is, for those who don't know, in the 90s, they had a situation where, like, if you're out of status, you can't file for a green card in the United States. You have to leave. But every year they would renew this thing as part of the statute, the Immigration Nationality Act, called Section 245I, the I section. And after 9/11, they stopped doing it. But if you had a case that started during that period, like in the 90s, and you right now have a green card, potentially even if you overstayed or work with authorization, you can still get a green card. It's pretty magical. There's less and less people who have access to this option more and more as time goes on. But when it does come up, it's magic. It's a very important thing to know. Okay. How can I contact you for more questions? Email us at info@jqklaw.com or go to our website, jqklaw.com, the contact page, and they'll have information there. Saki says, my case is pending 2 years. Unfortunately, I don't have any guidance on delays. Unique says, hi, my court date was changed. I don't handle court cases, so I don't want to talk about that. Sar says, I submitted my passport to the embassy, so how long does it take before I visa administrative processing? Whenever they feel like it. That's really what the real answer is. Let's see. Miriam says, how much should a FOIA application cost? Is $750 too much? Miriam, it depends. So FOIA application is a Freedom of Information Act request. They used to be a little more annoying to get it, but then now it's gotten easier online to get it. But the problem is you might get a FOIA request that's like 1,500 pages. So if I was going to sit and read 1,500 pages, I mean, a lot of it's going to be redacted. A lot of it's skipped through, but it might take me an hour or two. It depends on the hourly rate they have. And it depends on how many FOIA requests they're doing and how much other services are there. If they're doing other things, I might give a discount here. So I can't say if someone's too much or too not. Because Mario, you might have a really complex case and you're just saying, oh, I'm going to be spending 3 hours, 4 hours reading this person's thing. It might be a discount even for all of those. So it's been hard pricing those because, like, we could tell clients we'll order the FOIA and then for us to like review it's a different price, but it might be like 10 pages. So what we actually really recently did is like, we'll say, okay, the FOIA is this much, which is for one FOIA is less than what you're charging here, but only up to a certain amount of pages. If it goes more, then we have to charge. Now, if it goes like sometimes you get a Freedom of Information Act request response. These are copy your file. And that's like, it's like 200 pages, but 150 pages of it are blank. So we're not going to be nickel and dime people, or sometimes it's more, we don't charge, but it depends on the service you need and who's doing it. You might have one of the best immigration lawyers review your case. I don't know. So there's too many factors to say something is too much. Is a, Mercedes too much compared to a Honda? Well, you're getting a different product. You got to keep that in mind. And that's something that people compare, and people don't hire immigration lawyers, just lawyers in general too often. Hopefully they don't, because it costs money. It's pretty expensive and it's usually a headache if you have a lawyer. But there's some headache that exists that needs you to contact a lawyer. But like, what is justified is just, there's no justification of how much something is. It's like, is this person competent? For example, a lot of lawyers cost very cheap. A lot of lawyers cost like a third or a quarter of what I charge, but good luck getting a hold of them. If you get a hold of a secretary after a week or two, you're lucky. And they'll get your case and they may get it approved, but you're going to be angry for a year and a half because you have no idea what's going on in your case. And the officer's not asking questions. And you might have had a life change that the lawyer wasn't paying attention to, and it messed up your case. So these fees make a difference. It does apply because it is what it is. Cesar says, another question. Is it worth calling USCIS, try to get more other info on USCIS shows? No. I mean, get a shot. 1 out of 1,000 may work, but generally no. How long is USIS approval to NBC? A week nowadays. If something is 2 months. Aaron says, my lawyer charged me. That's why I'm asking. I hear you. I hear you. It depends on if we charge. Like, depends on what it is. We may charge, we may not. Might throw it in there as a package with the case and stuff. But, it's an honest question. I hear you. You're welcome, Cesar. Hash says, how much time before exact date of green card one can apply for naturalization? It depends on if you're doing a 3-year or 10-year green card. But let's say citizenship. But if say it takes minimum 5 years for citizenship because you're not married and living with a U.S. citizen, go to Google, type in Nat's 90-day calculator, and then a USCIS page will come up that has like a calculator in it. Add 5 years to the date of the issuance of your green card, put it in there, and they'll give you exact first date that you can file the case. That's the exact date. Before and after, I don't know. Administrative processing is just, it is what it is. You just gotta wait. Kenny says, how long does it take to run through I-765? Whatever long. Recently, I've been getting approved in like 3 weeks. It's kind of nuts, but it could be different. I just got one yesterday approved for 3 weeks. Or let's say it's January 4th, approved February 1st. So I don't know, 25 days, 27 days. It's pretty crazy to get a work permit that fast. And it's C, not a C though, no advanced parole with it. Brooke says, how do I find my backlog for Kenya Embassy for marriage interview at such a website? No, they don't. I mean, there's websites that say they keep track of it somehow, and there's like forums and WhatsApp groups of other Kenyans you could go, but essentially it's backed up. I have a Kenyan case. Pretty much Africa, if you're in big African countries like Kenya, Nigeria, it's like super backed up. Nigeria is probably worse, but Kenya is probably going to be 2 years or something. It's a 3-year green card. So just add 3 years to the issue date of a green card, and that'll be the early filing date. But just make sure you satisfy the requirements. You have proof of living and married, living with your spouse, U.S. citizen spouse for 3 years. And they've been a U.S. citizen for 3 years. So you got to be mindful of all the different criteria, but it's doable. Gender says, in how many days F2A applicant will receive green card for reaching USCIS? Hopefully a couple weeks. It's all over the place. Mutsa put a wrong email address there. It's JQK law, not JKQ law. People are going to send the wrong place. I mean, I could put in an email. It's info@jqqlaw.com. I should change the name, make it easier. Usually, how long after RFE response do you take? There's no real shot, Abby. There's no time. I think we're having a meeting, but there's no time for it. It's just however long they want to take. Hot Cave asks, my I-485 case got approved January 20th. Nice, 23 days ago. I haven't received my green card yet. The honest hasn't changed. Call them up. Sometimes they forget to send it or they delay sending it. That happens. Usually you get it within 10 days, but I've had it where we call them. And they're like, wait, we're taking a while. We'll send it next month. So you got to keep on it a little bit. Don said, it's a new year now since I filed I-130. I'm permanent resident. My spouse outside the U.S. It's going to take forever because there's no priority. There's no, for that kind of case that is backed up. So the I-130 could take 2-3 years. And who knows how long the embassy port is going to take, unfortunately. So if you can naturalize, do it. Chris says, can I apply for my spouse with $10,000 in the bank? No, you need more money than that. You need more. I need more information about your background, but 10,000 is not going to do it. M&A says, does Siley waive for illegal work while applying for 45? Yeah, you got to mention it and request it, but unauthorized. There's a thing actually, if you wait for legal work, that's a tricky question. So there's this one rule in the Immigration Nationality Act that says if you have an asylum case pending and you work with authorization, each date gets counted as one unauthorized unlawful presence day. Like if you stayed here illegally extra day. And if you had 180 days of those, plus you start getting to bans. But I think you have to leave and come back or something like that. So I haven't had that scenario. They usually waive everything at asylum, so it's pretty flexible. But I would need to study it more. Just situation hasn't come up for me, but that statute is success. Don says I-130 pending. Yeah, just pending. I guess I don't know what to tell you. Chris says, can I get someone to sponsor for the spouse visa? You get a financial sponsor, joint sponsor. Stuff says I submitted I-864 without date under signature wrong social security number. Can I correct it online for RFE issued? Probably not for the signature because that makes it invalid. They're just going to RF you. I mean, you could try, but they'll probably just RF you, have you do a new one. Winch says, hi, I'm here in the U.S. on a tourist visa. I got pregnant. Nice. Congratulations. We wanted to get married urgently so we could get under my spouse's insurance. Do we need to still wait the 90 days? I'm not hardcore about this 90-day rule, especially if you're marrying a U.S. citizen. Maybe wait 60 days, probably been 60 days. I mean, how quickly could you have to get it? But I would need to know your case to give you more advice. It's probably better to schedule private consultation, Winch. But congrats on the baby. The 90-day stuff probably doesn't make a difference. But I can't give you individual guidance. Say, hey, do this, do that over a public forum. So that's the limit of I could talk about. Rasul says, hi, is IRGC still a big issue for immigration? Yes, IRGC, for those who don't know, are people who have a membership related to a military group in Iran called Sepah, or the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, and they're denying entry to all those people in the U.S., even if they're forced to be conscripts there. Princess B says, thank you for your reply. You're welcome. Glad I could help. Ram says, hi, sir. I did my N400 almost a year ago. Still waiting for naturalization. Any idea? No. I'm a green card holder. Can marry someone who comes to U.S. visitor visa? You can marry someone who's in the U.S. On a visitor visa, but there's nuances. Like if they get married too quickly later on at the embassy, it could be problematic. So that could cause bans and fraud and misrepresentation and stuff. Plus, if you're a green card holder and you want to file for citizenship for them, there's a lag between the time you can do so. It gets kind of tricky, Ali. So I'd really recommend scheduling a private consultation with that scenario. Christy says, if my husband gets a spouse visa, can he come to the U.S. for 2 weeks and go to his country? Yeah, if he gets a spouse visa, he comes and gets his green card and then leaves and comes back. I mean, if he gets a green card, he's got to live here, but he could visit. Processing time for adjustment of VAWA, I don't have processing times. Stuff says, I did sign the I-64, forgot to rate. Sure, I already answered that question. Don says, okay, hot Kate. Okay, we got a bunch of stuff. You're welcome, Winch. You're welcome, Princess. Everyone says, from your experience knowledge, how long can a case sit at a consul waiting appropriate waivers? Years. Hot Cave says, I did call them and kept telling me it's production the last 3 weeks. Yeah, that's Hot Cave. It happens like 1 out of 100 times, but that happens sometimes. Ephraim says, Don says, I-130 pending. If I file N400 become a citizen, will my kids I-130 with their mother, or they prove separate? Yeah, it's going to cut off. So if you become a citizen, the kids cut off that case. You don't want to do that. But if you stay as a green card holder, it's going to take forever for the case to be approved. So it all depends on how old the kids are. So I can't give you guidance here without seeing their birth certificates, their dates of birth, how old they are now, and all that kind of stuff, your I-130 receipt. But potentially, you might want to file separate I-130s for the children, and then NATs if it's appropriate. But this is something that requires individual consultation because I got to check the dates and stuff so I can give you good advice. I don't want to just mess your life up like that. People file on their own, make the mistake you're doing, their whole family gets messed up. It's unfortunate. A-Frame says, hello, I'm processing status adjustment under labor certificate. That's already been approved. I'm the primary one and get a work per job for my entire family except me. Am I the primary one? Yes. And I get a work permit and travel permit for my entire family except me. No, you could all get work permits, travel authorization with adjustment of status, each of your own green card cases. Hockey said, I did call them and keep telling me it's the production last 3 weeks. Yeah, it's just the government, unfortunately. I've been waiting for my green card 14 months. If I have travel, it's normal time. It's not normal, but it does happen. So you just got to keep fighting it or reapplying and try to do whatever you can. Call USCIS. Maybe the mail lost it. All this kind of stuff. Will EAD Advanced Pro only get approved after I-64 RFE is fixed? No. The people said that to me in the past, but I got approvals without that. So, I don't think that's the case. Oh, wow. It's 30 minutes. That was fast. So let's get some fast questions asked. Mayona says, my spouse American. How long to get green card approved? It varies. Shama says, I'm in Malaysia and can't self-schedule because no appointments are coming up. I did a blood test. You know how long it would take if I switch to a different embassy? No, it's usually not a good idea. And I'm not sure why you do a blood test unless you're trying to show relations if your interview is not scheduled. Plus, if you're doing an immigrant visa appointment, you don't usually schedule it yourself. They do it for you. So, Shaima, you need to schedule a private consultation about your case. There's too many of these things that's popping up. I don't understand. Shakar says, I filed joint I-751 a year ago, but now I changed the waiver. It's been 9 months. How long does it take? There's no timelines. Mayo says, my husband's American. How long? From Sweden. I don't know, 2 years if you're outside of Sweden, probably. Maybe a little bit faster. All right. We'll take one last question. Natural says, we have a 30-year age gap. Been waiting 14 months. Is this normal time? 14 months is normal, but I don't know how you documented your case and relationship, so I can't say how strong the case is, but it's not too abnormal. It's starting to push it, though. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for joining again. We'll take 2 more YouTube questions. Sonia says, hello, is it best to file I-130 online via mail? It's up to you. There's no best. Fahad says, I have filed I-360. I don't do I-360, so I don't want to talk about that. Cesar says, great show. Big fan. Thank you, Cesar. Appreciate it. That was kind of lively today. I had a lot of energy. Finally, I'm almost done being sick for the last 40. Every weekend you get sick, and I don't know what's going on in the world right now. Everyone I talk with, all my clients from across the world, everyone's getting sick constantly. It's driving me crazy. But I feel a little better even though I'm coughing. Cesar, if you're still watching, I really appreciate it. If you put a 5-star review, go to Google, just type in JQK Law or my name. Thing will pop up. Just put 5 stars. It really helps the business out. It gives me more opportunity to come here and talk because, firms making money to hire people to help and come to live to you guys and talk more. So I really appreciate that. God bless everybody. We get a lot of questions, Dex, and people on TikTok keep posting the same question over and over again. So it's very hard to keep track of what's going on TikTok. Best to if y'all at TikTok want to get my attention better, go to YouTube and post it there, Immigration Talk or JK Law, or my LinkedIn or whatever it is, because on TikTok, it just slamming with questions. And it's really hard to keep track of what's going on because people ask the same question over again. Plus, every time someone joins, it says they joined. So I'm trying to run a show with 8 different social media sites. Very difficult to get every single one. If you want to get in touch, go to our website, jqqlaw.com, contact page, his phone number, and contact, or just email us, info@jklaw.com. The key thing is you briefly describe your immigration issue in the email or message. Paranoid Humanoid, good to see you. America was impeached. Oh, wow. Does it affect USS at all? Not really. I can't believe you got impeached, though. They'll be under a secretary that comes up. It creates problems if they don't eventually get a cabinet secretary position there. So if there was going to be some sort of command USCIS is going to put down, DHS says, for now we're going to do these kind of cases. Inevitably, it needs to be a more official person in that role to sign off on that. So it may affect big changes they want to make, which isn't good actually, because this is potentially last year Biden is there. And for immigration, a lot of times they do big moves in the last year. It's not big moves. Regular people wouldn't understand it, but there's technical stuff they do a lot of times in the last year presidency that affects people. Immigration law would notice it, but the side effects would go down the road. It wouldn't affect most people here right now, but certain scenarios it would. So it would have potentially affect that, because if that non-acting person signs, it potentially could be challenged later in court, all that kind of stuff. Too technical. Fahad says, and I didn't receive an I-130. I don't know. If you got RFE issues, call USCIS. Fortunately, my throat's giving way. It's the end of the show. I got to go and raise some kids right now. So God bless. Be safe. Email us, info@jqqlaw.com. Contact us, jqqlaw.com. Contact this page. God bless. Be safe. And I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.